Something is wrong with you, and I mean that in the best possible way. You've been tired in a way that sleep doesn't fix. You've been pulling away from people and places that used to feel normal, and you can't explain why. You flinch at things that never used to bother you. You feel like you're becoming someone else, and the terrifying part is you're not sure you want to stop it. The people around you are starting to notice. They're calling you sensitive, distant, different. They're right. You are different, but not broken, not falling apart. You are being rebuilt from the inside, and today you're going to understand exactly what is happening to you, why it's happening, and what comes next, because what comes next changes everything. The signal beneath the static. Let's start with the truth nobody says out loud. You have been living your entire life as an open receiver. Every room you walked into, you absorbed it. Every anxious conversation, you carried it home in your chest. Every piece of bad news, every heavy silence, every person drowning in their own chaos. You felt it land inside you like it was yours to carry. You thought that was just who you were. Sensitive, empathic, maybe too much. But here's what that actually was. That was a decoherent field. In physics, decoherence is what happens when a system becomes so entangled with the noise of its environment that it loses its own distinct signal. It stops being itself. It becomes an echo of everything around it. That has been you. Not because you were weak, not because you were broken, but because your internal signal had not yet stabilized enough to hold its own frequency in the presence of everything trying to override it. And now something is changing. You can feel it. That's why you're here. You have started, slowly, almost invisibly, as soon to stop being an echo. You are beginning to broadcast. The HeartMath Institute has documented for decades what researchers in bioelectromagnetism have measured with actual instruments. Your heart generates an electromagnetic field 60 times stronger in amplitude than your brain. Its magnetic field extends several feet beyond your physical body in a continuous self-sustaining loop. And the quality of that field, whether it's jagged and fragmented or smooth and coherent, determines what you attract, what you repel, and what you are even capable of experiencing. When you are afraid, reactive, constantly absorbing the chaos around you, that field is scattered, porous. It lets everything in. When your heart and brain begin to synchronize, when they begin broadcasting the same unified frequency, that field becomes something entirely different. It becomes a boundary, not a wall, a boundary, one built not from resistance but from resonance. And the reason you have been so exhausted lately, the reason your body aches in ways that doctors shrug at, the reason you need more silence, more solitude, more time to just be without performing, your system is doing the hardest work it has ever done. It is becoming coherent. The lighthouse and the storm. I want to tell you about a man named Elias. Elias kept a lighthouse on a coast, so brutal, so storm-ravaged, that the villagers in the valley below called it the Hungry Shore. Ships had been swallowed there for generations, and Elias had tended his light for 40 years, through every season of that hunger. One winter, a storm arrived that seemed to have a kind of intelligence to it. It went on for 11 days. The wind tore shutters off houses, the harbor flooded twice, and the villagers, terrified and desperate, climbed the cliff path to Elias's door. They begged him to dim the light. Their logic was simple. The storm kept targeting the lighthouse. The lightning kept striking near the tower. Surely, they argued, the brilliance of the beacon was drawing the fury toward it. Surely, if he made it smaller, softer, less threatening, the storm would move on. Elias listened to every word, then he gave them the truth they weren't ready to hear. The light doesn't draw the storm, he said. The light exists because the storm is already here. Dim the beacon, and the storm doesn't calm. It just takes every ship in the harbor down with it. He went back inside. He kept the light burning. That story is about you, the people in your life who are uncomfortable with how you've been changing. They are the villagers. They're not villains. They're frightened people operating from a very old logic that says the safest thing you can do is make yourself smaller. Match the frequency of the crowd. Don't shine so bright that people feel your light as a kind of accusation they want you to dim. And here is what you need to understand with absolute clarity. Your light is not aggression. Your coherence is not cruelty. Your refusal to shrink back into the frequency of the old life is not abandonment. It is the most sovereign act of service you have ever performed. Because a lighthouse doesn't apologize to the storm for being bright, and you have to stop apologizing for becoming stable. The trap of performance. Now I have to tell you something that will sting a little. Because this is where most people who wake up to this understanding go wrong. The moment you realize that frequency matters, that your energetic state shapes your reality, there is a seductive trap waiting for you. The trap of performance. You start trying to be high frequency. You monitor your thoughts. You police your words. You suppress the grief, the anger, the doubt because those feel like low vibration and you've decided low vibration is the enemy. You start performing a version of peace that costs enormous amounts of energy to maintain. And here's the painful irony. Effort is a low frequency state. Effort is born from the belief that you are not already enough, that your signal is broken and must be fixed, that you have to construct the peace rather than simply allow it. When you try to be coherent, you create friction, and friction is the exact opposite of what coherence actually feels like. True coherence is not a performance, it is a revelation. It is what happens when you stop layering other people's definitions over the signal that was always there. When you stop drowning your own frequency in the noise of who you were supposed to become. When you sit quietly, completely in the center of your own field and let the intelligence that was always operating beneath the static finally surface. You don't build the frequency, you stop blocking it. That's the shift, that's the entire shift. Stop trying to vibrate higher. Start noticing what happens when you stop vibrating at other people's frequencies. The stillness that follows is not emptiness, it's you. Actually you, possibly for the first time in a long time. The physics of becoming untouchable. Let me show you what this looks like in real terms, in the actual lived experience of your daily life. Because untouchable is a word that gets misunderstood. It doesn't mean cold. It doesn't mean invulnerable to genuine emotion. It doesn't mean you stop loving, stop grieving, stop being human in the fullest, most tender sense of that word. Untouchable means this: the low-frequency chaos of the world, the manufactured drama, the fear-drenched news cycle, the energy vampires and the guilt trippers and the people who have made their suffering into a lifestyle they need you to participate in. That noise can no longer find a landing place inside you. Not because you fought it off, because there's no matching signal within you to receive it. This is wave mechanics. In physics, when two waves meet, they either amplify each other or cancel each other out. This depends entirely on whether they share a frequency. When your internal signal reaches a certain level of coherence and stability, the incoherent waves around you simply pass through. They don't attach, they don't drain, they don't colonize your nervous system for days. You've already felt this happening. Remember the last time you were in a conversation that would have previously sent you into a spiral, and you noticed something different, a kind of neutrality, not numbness, not detachment, but a quiet, grounded stability that let you witness the storm without becoming the rain. That wasn't luck, that was your signal strengthening. The quantum field always responds to the most stable frequency in any environment. This is documented and measurable. A single coherent person can genuinely calm a room of 100 panicked people, not by doing anything, Not by saying anything particularly brilliant, but simply by being the most stable thing in the space. The field reorganizes around the strongest signal. That signal is becoming yours. You don't have to defend yourself anymore. You don't have to win arguments. You don't have to explain your choices to people who made their peace with chaos long ago. You only have to hold your frequency. The field does the rest. It was always broadcasting, even when you weren't listening. Breathe deeply into the center of your chest, and as you do, recognize something that might feel uncomfortable because it is so unfamiliar. You are not broken. You never were. You were decoherent, entangled with too much noise, broadcasting other people's frequencies at the cost of your own. But beneath all of that, beneath every layer of borrowed anxiety and inherited fear and performed identity, your signal was always there, intact, waiting. The activation is not something I am giving you. It is something you are finally allowing yourself to remember. Feel the warmth spreading through your chest right now. That is not imagination. That is your field reorganizing. That is your biology responding to the recognition of its own truth. This is your new baseline, not a peak you visit, not a state you perform, a floor you never fall below again, because every time you drift, and you will drift, that is human. That is the nature of this. Every time you drift and then notice and then choose to return to this, you are building a stronger foundation. You are lowering the ceiling on how far back you can fall. You are teaching your field what home feels like. And home is this stability, this quiet authority, this clarity that doesn't shout but is felt immediately by everything in the room. Closing. The navigator takes the helm. You are not the result of your history. The field does not read your past. It reads your present signal. It does not see your old wounds as permanent markers of who you must continue to be. It sees the frequency you are broadcasting right now, in this singular present moment. And right now, you are broadcasting something different than you were 6 months ago. Right now, you are broadcasting readiness. Your biography holds no authority over your current resonance. The moment you choose a new state, you change the probability space of your entire life. Not metaphorically, not as a nice story you tell yourself to feel better. Literally, mechanically, at the level of how reality self-selects through the instrument of your consciousness. You are not a passenger in this life. You never were. You are the instrument through which reality chooses itself, and the instrument has been tuned. The old world is built on the assumption of scarcity, separation, and fear. It will continue to offer those frequencies. It will continue to broadcast them at maximum volume through every channel available to it. That is not your problem anymore, because you are no longer calibrated to receive them. You are not meant to fit into the old systems. You are meant to outgrow them. Your very existence, the coherence you carry just by walking into a room, is a transmission of a different possibility to everyone whose field is ready to receive it. You don't have to say a single word. The signal does the work. You are no longer a candle in the dark. You are becoming the light by which the dark defines itself. The navigator has taken the helm. The frequency is locked. The static is dropping, and the signal, your signal, is becoming pure. If this reached you, if something in your body recognized what your mind is still catching up to, anchor it. Say it out loud or say it in the silence of your chest. I am the field, not the frequency of what finds me. Feel that land. You have arrived, the quantum window. Here is the most practical, the most immediately actionable thing I will give you, the quantum window. Every morning, before your feet touch the floor, before the notifications start, before the day collapses into its specific shape, there is a few minutes of pure potential. The space between sleep and full waking where your mind has not yet decided who you are today, what you're afraid of, what you're behind on, what you owe, and to whom. That window is the most leveraged moment of your entire day. Most people waste it by immediately reaching for their phone. They let the algorithm pour its frequency into them before they've had a single moment to locate their own. You are going to do something different. In that window, before a single word, before a single thought about the day ahead, you are going to feel for your own signal. Place a hand on your chest, not as theater, as an act of deliberate recognition. Your heartbeat is there, steady, already broadcasting, already doing the work. Breathe into it, long, slow, intentional, on the inhale. Possibility, raw, unnamed, unscripted possibility. Don't reach for a specific outcome yet. Just breathe in the raw substance of the field before it collapses into a single form. On the exhale, release one layer of the old story. The one that says you're still healing, still behind, still waiting for some future version of yourself to finally be ready for the life you actually want. Do this for 60 seconds, that's all, 60 seconds. And watch how differently the day moves around you, because you have set the navigational coordinates. You have established the frequency through which every probability the day offers must pass. You are no longer waiting to see what the world decides to hand you. You have decreed the tone. This is the move from passenger to navigator, and it happens in 60 seconds before your feet hit the floor. Part 6, the spilling. I have to speak to the grief of this too, because the rewiring is not painless. You have lost things in this process, people, versions of yourself you loved, comfortable certainties that kept you warm even when they kept you small. The field has been emptying your cup, and I know how devastating it can feel to watch what you built, what you loved, what you depended on, drain away before you even understand why. But here is the truth the loss has been trying to tell you. The field cannot pour something new into a cup that is already full. The clearing was not punishment. The loss was not evidence of your failure or your wrongness or some cosmic verdict that you deserve less. The spilling was the necessary act of a universe that is attempting to pour something into you that your old frequency wasn't even capable of recognizing as valuable. You would have looked at it and not known what it was. You would have called it a mistake. So the field cleared you first. Even a tree must split its own bark to grow wider. Even a star must collapse before it reignites at a new magnitude. The tightness you feel at the edges of your old life, the sensation of outgrowing things, of no longer fitting in the spaces you used to inhabit, that is not deterioration. That is expansion experiencing friction. And on the other side of it is a reality you have not yet had the frequency to imagine, which is precisely why you have to let the field build it rather than your old mind design it. Trust the assembly. Trust the intelligence that knows which connections to sever and which to forge. The architecture of your highest potential is already being constructed in the field ahead of you. Every piece that fell away was a piece that couldn't survive the upgrade. You are not being hollowed out. You are being made large enough for what is coming. The activation. Now we anchor it, not as a concept, in the body. Because the quantum field responds to the intelligence of the body just as much as the logic of the mind. Place one hand on your chest now, not in a moment. Now, feel the weight of your own hand. Feel the heat. Feel the pulse moving beneath your palm like a slow, certain drum that has never once stopped for you. Through every hard year, through every loss, through every night you doubted whether you were going to be okay, that heartbeat never wavered.